Could I have a motion to open the meeting?
Motion to open meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public speak. Is there anyone here from the public who would like to talk that is not on the agenda today? Okay.
I'm sorry, Sam, I didn't see you there.
I have a motion to approve the minutes for the February 19th meeting, if there are no corrections from anyone.
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Could I have a motion to approve the minutes from the April 1st meeting with no corrections?
Motion to approve the first.
All in favor?
Second. Aye.
Okay, public hearing. Could I have the paperwork for first? Our first public hearing is for the special day one application for Thunder in the Valley at Millside Park for June 22nd. Is there someone here? for
Yes,
that?
I'm David DeBeer. How are you?
Hi, David. Could you please tell us about this function?
This is a function for the Children's Miracle Network. It's pretty much the same as last year. It's sponsored through, from Mike Perry, through Harley Davidson of Southampton. All the proceeds go to the Children's Miracle Network, 100%. So we're repeating last year. The only difference is now he's actually stepped up and he's spent a little bit more money. We've got a lot better music venue this year. They're doing fireworks this year for the town of Easthampton for the celebration, and Mike's actually digging into his pocket a lot deeper than expected. So
It's a good cause.
it is. You know, I do stuff for. We do stuff for I belong to the Corporate Club of Western Mass also, and we do stuff for the soldiers' homes and the veterans. As far as donating for alcohol, and my alcohol business, he approached me and asked me if we would be the alcohol vendor this year, because that's actually what we do. So I've involved New City and I've involved the Van Brewery again this year to sell their product, as well as having Williams Distributing as a big sponsor for us. I've also brought in, being an alcohol vendor myself, I've brought in Yingling as a big sponsor. I've brought in Shock Top as a major sponsor as well, so I'm hoping it draws a crowd in from their advertising expenses as well.
And is it your employees that will be serving only?
Yes.
Okay, so no one from New City serving and no one's from Van
No, we're doing all the wholesale purchasing from them,
Okay,
and we're pouring their beer through my trailer
okay.
because it's my it's my off-premise liquor license that we're
Yep.
doing it with. So
Okay.
for
Well,
them
that's
to
what I
do-
noticed, the tip certifications must be your employees.
those are my employees.
And how are you carding people, and are you putting wristbands on them?
Everything is wristband this year. Williams is supplying us with Shock Top orange wristbands and Yingling brown wristbands, so it's going to be distinguishing of halfway through the day. We're going to switch our colors so we know who's been there
Okay,
and who's been drinking and who's been there since 2 o'clock and who's been there since 4 o'clock.
that's a good idea.
Well, we do that because if I do the ID verifier through the computer, then the computer would print it out, and a lot of times you can't read it as well because it's only one color. So I like switching halfway through a large event.
So they enter the venue, the park, and then they're ID'd at that time?
They're ID'd at that point right there.
Okay,
So it's distinguishing who was an adult and then who was a child to do it. So,
okay.
You do a lot for the vets, right?
yes, we do.
Okay, you probably know my brother Mike, because he deals constantly with
Yeah,
vets.
so we do the widows, and then we do the events at the Soldiers Home. We do the events for Belize Chevrolet. I do the stuff for the town of South Hadley. I do everything for Harley Davidson in Southampton through their administrative office. I do all their stuff. So
Any other questions?
No,
I've submitted my liquor liability through her, so it's like
I see, I have your liability insurance.
yeah, we're paid through, we pay through a whole year because we do so many events.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
I make a motion to grant the license.
Okay,
One second.
all in favor?
And I hope that you guys show up there.
It's signed on this page.
Like I said, my brother does all.
Yeah.
So Kelly, I charged him $125, $50 for the application fee, $75, because even though the event's nonprofit, profit is
Part
going
of-
back to New City and Abandoned?
Yeah, I still have,
Yeah.
So
I
is
still
that
have to
correct
pay, I
charging?
still have to
Yeah.
pay them, but we're taking their donations and we're donating to them, so.
Okay.
I still
I just
have
want
to
to make sure I'm charged, that I
Yeah.
didn't overcharge.
Yeah.
Right. Right here, right there.
Yeah.
Mine is shut. Do you want a copy of this, can I take a copy of this, you want the original now?
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, it's just one, right?
Yep, and we have one more to go. She's just gonna make him
I
make
believe
a
Mike is
copy.
even, I believe he's even stepped up and there's actually six full-service food vendors there this year. He's got other Veterans Affairs coming there with their big trailer. There's so much more going on than just the music. There's a lot of stuff for kids going on this year, so it's a much broader event than in the past.
Are you gonna be doing the fireworks for them?
I'm not doing the fireworks. That's done through Mike and the company that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, are you gonna be a vendor at the fireworks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's probably gonna come before us for the next meeting,
Yeah.
the 4th of July.
Great gods.
Yeah. We're hoping to ring a big chunk of change because Puffett Printing in town. I've talked to Sylvia up there, and she's going to sponsor us, and I'm going to have her print that giant check. So she says, "Well, I'll do the printing for the check and put our name on it and everything."
Stan and I'll carry it for you.
Well, it's going to be. I want to do it kind of as a big presentation. When it does come about, I want to try to get the news involved. We get kind of press release involved because
Oh, yeah.
because the town is involved and it's a big thing for the town as well. I mean, I'm hoping that it draws a huge crowd.
Yeah.
And it's not only going to be for just that. It's for everybody else that's in town that wants to see fireworks as well come back. Because everybody that talks to me tells me that we haven't seen fireworks in Easthampton for a long time. It's like, well, you're going to see it this year because we're stepping up.
Good.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
If you need a receipt, let me know, I'll process the
Now,
check
my
tomorrow.
check is my
Okay.
receipt. So this is actually my
That's-
permit?
yep.
Okay, so
You're all set.
I'll do that. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
And maybe I'll see you people at the event. Come up and say hi to us and we'll see you there.
Okay.
Take care.
Have a
See
good
you
one.
later. I'll let Mike know that we're all set and he'll be
Yep,
thrilled.
yeah, enjoy the day of sunshine.
Yeah, it's gonna rain tomorrow.
I know, back to New England tomorrow.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care.
Okay, I would now like to open the multiple one-day permits for the Fish and Rod and Gun Club for June 1st, 14th through 16th, August 24th, September 13th through 15th. Is there someone here from Rungo? Come on up and tell us about your function.
So the June 1st one is going to be a one-day bass tournament. It's going to be from 6 to 2 in the morning. 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. And then we'll...
How about 11 to 3?
Well, 11 to 3 is when we'll be selling beer.
Okay.
That we can't, within the parameters of the permit.
Yep.
And then the June 14th through 16th is our annual spring derby on the Father's Day weekend, and we run that 24 hours a day, but the beer permit's only within the hours.
6 to 11 on the 14th, the 11 to 11 on the 15th, and 12 to 4 on the 16th.
And then the next one is we have a veterans benefit we have a benefit party to raise funds for when we host the Leeds veterans coming down to the club for a day of fishing and horseshoes and cornhole, and we just have a good time there. And this is a benefit party to raise money for them And then this year we added an event. It's a barbecue for a former president who passed away unexpectedly, Mark Newsom.
Mark who?
Newsom?
The name sounds very good.
Yeah, he's from this area. He was only like early 50s. Just passed away.
It sounds very, very good.
And are these held here at the pond?
No, they're
All of
at
these?
all at the Rod and Gun Club.
Okay.
The next event we're having here, we're not selling beer, it's the kids are gonna be. That would.
Yeah, that's this month, right?
Yeah, in 2 weeks. And then, the last event we're having is the fall, fishing derby in September. And that's a duplicate of the spring. The same.
Okay.
Stand by it. We have it all the time. Never had a problem.
And the nice thing about doing it this way from what we did last year, because every other year we did it just before, and we paid an extra $50 application fee every time. I said, how about we just put it all together?
There you go.
It's easier for you guys, it's easier for us.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing, just, when you give this to him, Lindsay, you need to attach the dates on this that it's gonna be, because it says see attached for the
Okay.
hours and sales. So just attach this page, because these are the days that we're agreeing to and the times.
Okay.
All right, could I have a motion, please? You wanna
Motion
read it?
to,
I'm sorry, you gotta go to that page.
thank you. Motion to approve the special alcohol beverage license application for the Easthampton Garage Event Club.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, that was back on the first page, sorry. Right there.
Do you want to leave with this now, or do you want to pick it up?
Whatever's
You can
easiest
go
for
look
you.
it for him.
Okay.
Just make sure you attach that page that has the dates and times
Will
on
do.
it.
I'm going to take that from you, sir.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do you want to walk down?
Sure. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Take care.
Sunday. Maybe some.
I know I did, so Ray's just the only one that has to sign that. I've been going. We had an auction in Pittsfield yesterday. It started, I left my house at 8 o'clock. I didn't get back home till 9:30. And like, the horses were in all day. They were like, because it was raining,
Oh,
so I
yeah?
left them in. I'm like calling people, please go to my house and feed my animals. The dogs were in all day. I think we'd be home at 5:30, and it just, there was so much stuff and so many people. And it was raining and crummy, and farmers always turn out for those.
Yeah.
It's like-
The worse the weather,
They
the more
live
they
for
show.
it, they live for it. Because they figure no one else is gonna come to buy the
Yeah,
stuff they
yeah,
want,
yeah.
so they'll stand there. It was a long, and then I had to be in work at 6:30 this morning, that some of the contractors were starting early.
I hope you don't hesitate to call us if we can help out.
Yeah.
Well, your names are being left, I leave for Scotland next Monday.
Okay.
You
So,
do?
yeah, going to Scotland for 10
Oh,
days.
Oh, nice.
And, so your names are on the, goat emergency call
Okay.
list.
You think that's bad? My niece puts on Facebook a picture of a cat. Okay. It was our cat some guy was walking down Treehouse Circle, saw the cat walking, and my cat's very friendly, and comes up, right up to you. He picks it up, calls it animal control officer. He ends up bringing it to the Westfield Animal Show.
You had to go get it?
Yeah. It took Carol like 3 days to get the cat out of there. She had to bring it back to the vets.
And pay like $50.
Yeah, probably.
It- 50, $207
Oh, my
with
God.
medicine, and it's too bad we're videoed.
Alright. Okay, so for
Oh.
new business, I think just Ray needs to sign the
Yes.
2019 ABCC renewal certificate.
Yes, so now I know moving forward that this is the one they send each year in November with the forms that I have to have each business sign. But this form never got filled out or done, so now it's here and needing your autograph. And I will send it over to Sabrina at the ABCC first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay. And then for when Ray's done signing, just some business things that have transpired, just to bring everybody up to date on them. So the application that we approved for hunt and gather was denied by the ABCC for the reason being that we had no available licenses. So after Lindsay went round and round with them, I called them to straighten it out. And what it was is one of the boxes, we always refer to them as over quota licenses. The correct name is a legislative license. So the second thing that you check off on an application is this a legislative license, yes or no? It was being checked off no. So whoever was reviewing it, the ABCC, said, you don't have any licenses to give, and denied it. So I spoke to them. We have to go back and look at previous licenses that are legislative licenses that may have been sent in with a no checked off on it, which I don't believe that this was probably the only one, because they all would have been rejected because we have no licenses.
Right.
So but Lindsay and I will go back and check them. Some of them were licenses that had been sold, so those would still be legislative licenses. It should still have it checked off as yes. We don't have any transfers. Transfers would be like if you're changed your business name, but it stays within the same thing. A sale of a license is a transfer, but it's a ownership transfer. So any of those licenses, though, should have been checked off as yes as a legislative license. So the main one, though, that we have to address is hunt and gather and sending in an amended. And what you would do is just change your first page. You would check the yes, and you would send it in and say to them, enclosed, please find an amended first page to the application. Please destroy the original page sent in and replace it with this page. Or whatever they
Right,
told
so
you to
I
do.
did that and they came back and said it also has to be on the LLA form, so I saw it there as well. And then they also need the chapters and years filled out on both. So it needs to be both the first page of the application and the LLA form that need
Okay.
to be corrected.
All right, so and you would just send them in and say, please replace these with the existing page that we incorrectly sent into you. Put it all on us, let them be very happy, and
So in regards to the chapters and acts of.
oh, okay. Chapters and acts, Barbara would have that for you, because we just had to investigate that for asking the council to approve, to send in a request to legislative for additional licenses. Barbara has the chapter that was approved, so you can ask her, she can give that to you. If not, we should have a file in our filing cabinet that has that in there. I might even have that in my bag of goodies here, a copy of it. Because I know I do have a copy of it. But that is easy enough to get to you for that. And then you'd want to keep that, and the same thing then would be for the next group, if it gets approved, it would be going forward every time someone fills out an application, the same thing. It would be yes in that box, and you would be citing the new, it would be a new chapter, and section. So you would, you know, going forward, do that.
So do the chapters change, or for every new license, or is it just referring back to what allows legislative licenses to happen? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's still the same chapter. It's probably a different section.
Okay.
I'm not sure though. I'm not positive how they do that, but I know, you know, it would be
Well, it might-
Mass General Laws,
Right,
chapter, section.
But every application, that number's not gonna be the same.
It's not gonna change. It's
No,
always
it's
going to
gonna
be the same.
Always be the same.
It
Because
might
it,
even be the same chapter.
They have here on each
Yeah.
form chapter, and so we
And
weren't
that will
checking
always be
this
the same.
off.
Right, but those will always be the same
Yep.
And then-
going forward, okay.
yes, it will, for the rest of the, however many licenses were given,
Right.
that would be the same. It would be cited the same way.
Yeah.
But I'm not putting my fingers on it, but I will look, I might have it at home.
Yeah,
But
keep
Barbara
on that,
definitely
yeah.
has it also.
I just was just working on it.
And then the other thing, so I had requested Lindsay to ask the owners of Groom to come back in along with the landlord, because the landlord was telling people that, you know, it's up to him who gets this license that is a legislative license, which is not the fact. I mean, anybody can apply for it, but he's not the grantor of the license, and he shouldn't be conveying that to people or telling other tenants that they can't apply for that license. With that being said, though, also Groom wants to not request that license. They would be requesting an additional legislative license, or if a license comes available in the town, they could also apply for that one. They could buy one if one came up for sale. But they were told by the ABCC that they do not have to go through the application process again or the notification process again, which I believe that they were incorrectly told that because the public needs to know when we have a public hearing on that. So they would have to notice it.
Yeah, Ralph called back and clarified that.
Yes.
That they would if they would apply.
Yeah, they don't have to fill out the application. Again, the paperwork is in there, but when they were coming before us, they would have to notify the abutters again, and they would have to publish it in the newspaper. So I requested for them to be here to tell them that, and they refused to come in.
I didn't request by notification that they come in to
Okay,
today's meeting.
but you called them, and he said he wasn't going to come in.
Well, Groom wasn't going to come
Yeah.
in because they're not applying at this moment. so.
Right. But I wanted to explain that to them, and they said that they didn't want to come in. But they will have to come in when their license does become available. And they will have to do the notifications again. Let me look those. What other things were we working on, Lindsay, that we had to?
So I just got notification from the state and Christina Geyer from Department of Revenue. They are auctioning off Peter Pan license on the 28th here in this room,
Okay.
between 8:30 and 1:30.
Is it sealed bids, and then they open up a bid?
I've never dealt with.
There'll be a notification in the newspaper.
Okay.
And it'll
What's that
probably-
date again?
May 28th.
Could you send us a memo on that? You know, just send us an email that we all have that notification.
Yes.
But it should be published in the newspaper, and it most likely will be a sealed bid. But I could be wrong. They could have an auctioneer here. I don't know though.
Okay.
I don't know if we've ever even had one of those in the town where they sell the license.
It's one of our usual normal licenses, is that what this is?
Right.
And so
It is.
don't usually the person who owns it independently sells it?
It was
No.
confiscated by.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There's a lien on
Okay,
It was, Department of Revenue seized it.
okay.
And they were allowed to. We did check with the city solicitor, and we checked with the ABCC, and the Revenue Department had the right to take it.
Okay.
It did not come back to us. But I mean, whoever buys it, my question is, I am assuming that they can sell it then. So someone can buy it and resell it. But it cannot be a pocket license, that's the other thing also.
Mhm.
They
It
can.
stays with the property, right?
No,
No.
it is not a legislative license. So they can buy it, but they will have to use it. They cannot let it sit dormant for a year, Ray, is that correct?
Anytime, yeah.
Yeah, it can't be
Yeah, it
dormant.
can't.
Can't be, that's referred
It's a
to as a
year,
pocket
yeah.
license. So usually they have to like start, if they're building a business, renovating a business or something like that, it has to, the work has to begin and they
Right.
have to show that they're going to be serving in a certain time frame.
Yeah, it's basically, it's real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not open,
Yeah.
it's not open.
Yeah, like, you know, they
can't
would
use it.
really have to show us that, you know, we've got this 6-month plan on construction and, you know, then it's understandable. But they can't just buy it and say, well, we're planning on opening this and we're planning on doing that. Then it's
Well, if
called,
they're planning, we can take it.
yeah, if it, you know, but if they have a signed contract and they're showing, you know, good faith that they're moving forward, then,
Right.
you know, we have the leeway of saying, yes, you can hold on to it, no, you can't. But if
Yeah.
it's dormant for like 3 months or something, no. And that-
Remember that old, not, the old town hall, because they had that, one of the first legislative liquor
Yep.
licenses, and we had to get on that.
And,
To use it.
Pollards.
So,
Pollard's the same thing. I believe that got taken back because that was considered a pocket license.
Mhm.
Because he didn't move forward with anything after the restaurant got ripped down.
Yeah, right. Well, I appreciate you helping out all this stuff. So, my understanding of a regular liquor license, let's assume we have them, is that except for some minor charges for fees and stuff, we don't sell them for like $20,000 or $30,000. So what is this auction going to be for? Because I mean, are they auctioning it off for a significant amount of money?
Whatever they can get for it, they're auctioning it so they can pay down the lien that's
Oh,
on
that's
there.
why, okay.
See, like if he was going to sell it. He had a buyer, I think, for Peter Pan, and it included the license.
Uh-huh.
But they grabbed that asset to sell it
Yeah.
themselves and get the money themselves. So yeah, like remember when there was a little bar over in, is that considered New City? It was on the corner on like one of those little crossover streets that went to East Street, Parsons on Parsons
Okay,
Ave.
Harry's.
There was, what was it?
Harry's can pay.
Was that the name of it? It was a little bar over there,
I
and
think
that
I've
burnt
seen it, yeah.
down. And that's, Casey Douglas bought that license. It
Okay.
was sold at an auction,
Right.
and then they auctioned it up, and he bought it.
Okay.
So they can, you know,
Okay.
they can sell it.
Okay.
Now, the new legislative licenses that I believe have been requested now, you
Yeah, Dan Carey said
approved it.
it's moving.
Yeah, those do not have the specific language that they are to a specific address.
Right.
What we have determined that when Bears was a legislative license, that particular license had language on it that it would stay with that property, and when we moved forward and asked for the 8 additional, an oversight was made and that language was not removed. So it was basically cut and paste the language and it did not get removed, and that is why the 8 that we have stayed with those premises. So now the new ones that we have all requested will not have that. It will not stay with the premise. If a business moves, it can take its license with it.
So my understanding was it can't literally just go from A to B. It has to go, return it back to you, move to B, reapply it. Is that correct? I mean, because I thought they can't literally say, okay, I'm taking this license and moving here. They have to say, this goes back to the licensing board, I'm moving here, I'm now going to apply for that license. I thought that's...
No, I think, my understanding of it is, and I could be wrong, but my understanding, if it is the same business, they could move, but they would have to amend their license. I believe it's an amendment because it's a different premise. But they still have their license. They don't have to reapply, but they would amend the license they have for the
Oh, okay.
premises only.
Okay.
That would be a question you
They would still have to
know.
go for change of location.
Right,
Right.
but they could retain, they don't turn the license in, and they still get to keep it, it's still in their name.
Yeah, because I know Barb was showing me the little legislative reading, and my reading of it was that it sounded like it goes back to you guys to be reawarded, but I may be wrong, but.
That was for the ones that were for the premise.
No, these are the most recent ones
Oh,
she was
okay.
showing me. but-
I think if it's the same entity with the same, managers, the same everything, they would just be doing a change of premise or,
Right.
or, an amendment to their license. Does that sound right, Ray?
Some of, but I would check on that,
Yeah.
to be safe.
Okay,
you
when,
know.
when you're talking to Ralph or somebody, sometimes just say, oh, by the way, we have a question,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and clarify that.
Yeah,
A
we
lot
have
of
to
it-
approve the premise.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
would have to do that. And if somebody else see with, my concern is, if, say anyone here wants to buy Peter Pan,
Mhm.
okay? Every bill that they own, alcohol bill, they would have to buy that. They would have to pay for it. Every bill, the alcohol that they own.
They have to assume the debt, is that what you're saying?
Uh-huh.
They have to assume the debt?
That's the word, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that they have to assume the debt.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
That might be like when you buy a foreclosed house, you're buying the debt that comes
Yeah.
with it
Yeah.
in some way.
That's basically what it's, God, I can't remember. I think it might be 19. Actually, I think it's under our CMRs.
It would be, they would have to, when they publish it, they would have to say that, subject to liens and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's that because the very first overquoted legislative license came in here it was the log cabin.
Mhm.
Okay, so when I talked to Peter on that, Casa, the owner, because when he was there, he says, Ray, the people that I bought it from, the alcohol, I had to pay $25,000 in cash for COD. And he says, is that right? And I'm there, yeah. And I says, why did
so,
they do that? Wait a minute, wait a minute. And then he says, they told me I have to pay off all of Edna Williams' bills.
But is that for the alcohol that's on the premise?
Yeah, and every bill that she didn't pay to the distributors, she had to pay every one of them,
Oh,
or
that's
he had to pay them all. And-
I mean, I could see if they were buying the alcohol that was on the premise when they bought, they're buying the liquor
No, they
license
have
and the
to pay
premise
off
and stuff.
every bill.
I mean, that could have been part of their purchase and
No,
sale
it's
agreement. or
it's
something.
part of
Okay.
it's part of it.
Well, we can definitely, if that's a law.
Oh, we used to
would
do
see-
that all the time. That we had to do it because what we did is we used to have to go in and check
Yeah.
to make sure they were doing it. But I'm pretty sure it's under their CMRs. It's not under 138, I believe.
Okay. We can look into that.
I don't know. Do you have a copy of the CMRs?
I can look it up online.
Yeah, they have them right. It's under the ABC law.
Okay.
They have it there.
Okay.
Because we used to have to basically know them.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Just a couple, so, this is unusual scenario that since Nicole has her.
Can we close the meeting?
Oh, wait, I
Or-
think. But again, this isn't about a topic, so I don't think it's going to be meeting law issue. It's about procedures and stuff. So 3 of us are new here. You guys have all this institutional knowledge. So where is, and again, I think it's because Nicole has recused herself from anything alcohol related, is why I'm involved now more. But what are the best places to learn all this stuff you have? Like, does ABCC have just like pages?
They have on their website. is where a lot of stuff I got from them. There are like, there is a help menu, and it's like, most common asked questions and procedures, and it's about a 15-page read, but it's very specific about specific scenarios and how the procedures go with those scenarios. And I read that a lot, and referred to that for a lot of different things. And that was very helpful, and that's right on their website. And Ray just had to learn it because it was part of his job.
Yeah, you used to be on the ABCC.
A real good place on the website is there, I believe it's on their homepage, go up and look at decisions. And that is every violation that they have, it has the decision of what it has. Like, your place has served a minor, you get three days suspension, 6 days, a month.
Because like when
Pay.
someone applies for a license, you obviously have these parameters in your head that you know they need to fulfill.
Yeah.
So those are all listed somewhere on ABC's website.
Yeah, that's right
Yeah.
under decisions.
Yeah, and then they also have like notifications that go out pertaining to different things. I mean, and it was incredible. One time we had Crooked Popsicle
Yeah.
Stick was asking us about alcohol-infused popsicle sticks, and at the same exact time, the ABCC came out with a ruling about it, and basically washed their hands of it and said it had to go to Food and Drug for an analysis for the amount of alcohol that was in it, that it went out of their jurisdiction because there was not enough alcohol in it. So they have all these little very informative things, just like when the farm permits just came out. So that's how the beer distributors got to be able to pour their beers for sampling. At one time, they used to send them right to the cities because we were given copies at our meetings, but somehow we fell off of their emailing notifications, or you might not know that you're getting it and not looking at it. But I go on and look myself at things that come out. It's also like when it updates something, like I know the farmers pouring permits, there's been some changes to that because a lot of these beer places now, like the breweries, want to serve something other than beer because they've got other customers in there that would rather have a glass of wine than a glass of beer. So they're looking at how, because their pouring permits are for beer only, and how do they go about that they can, change that into, a beer and malt, but they're given special leeway for their product, for their beer. So how can they mesh that together? So I know they're working things out with that. Ray, I'm sure you know some other ones that they've probably come out with, but they send out these notifications like every couple of months. This is being updated, we're looking at this, nothing's happening with this, something that was, becoming, a question or a topic. So they send out these notifications, and they're also on the website.
So also, and actually locally more for this committee, what's the best way to communicate? Do you have email, or do you do email, but you have to be careful that you don't discuss issues?
Right, we can't discuss specific
Right, but you
issues
can
in our
talk
email.
about-
But like Lindsay can send us out, a notification, okay, here's something we just got from the ABCC. It pertains to, or our next meeting, for your review for our next meeting. But then we can't communicate amongst ourselves about it, but we can have it in front of us to look at.
So whenever
it.
she gets something like that, she should forward it to everybody
Yes.
so everyone's aware of it.
Yep, and that's the other thing, we've been asking her to send us copies to scan in applications, so when somebody comes before us, we're not spending, we're like under the gun trying to read things. Like, I know where to look at specific things, but I'm looking at different things than what Stan
Right.
Ray would be looking at, like, I'm looking at legal things. I'm
Yeah.
looking at, like, is there a signed lease? Is there these things that the ABCC is gonna kick back and that, that we might be approving that it's not in there though. Ray's looking at things that are, more compliant with the ABCC and what they're gonna look at, and Stan may be looking at, like, okay, is this like a place I wanna bring a family to?
Yeah.
We're all looking at
But we're a
different
good
things.
team doing it
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, you guys have to stay on for the next 10 years, 'cause you have so much institutional knowledge, it's like, well.
See, there's the thing, like you're saying, it's good because look up the definition of alcohol. It's not this
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
You wouldn't believe
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
The true definition of alcohol is, you wouldn't believe it, and people don't know, like a draft beer, how many times you clean your lines?
Yeah, right, all those little technical things,
Twice a week, people don't know that. And
And who picks that up? The Board of Public Health, or do you guys inspect? Or-
No, we don't inspect, and we don't actually, we don't police it either.
No.
If we know of a violation, like if I walked in and saw a violation, I don't go up with my little,
Yeah.
I'm on this licensing board
Freeze.
badge. We have to get the police department, like, if we wanted to go see something, we would have to have a police escort to go with us,
Right.
to do it. We have no enforcement power, other than if there's a violation and the police inform us that there's a violation, then we would bring somebody before us. But,
the
or,
only problem with that is we gotta have somebody come in and bring the charges to us. Because if we went there and we see it, we can't play judge and jury.
So you can't bring a charge,
Yeah.
Right.
you might say.
Because,
Yeah, swing by there and check that.
yeah,
yeah, like, if I went in and somebody didn't card me, I can't do something about that,
So does that
because.
go to ABCC and they could have to call in the complaint?
Well,
or would it go to
the
police department?
no,
ABCC does-
basically what, well, you can come to us and then we can say, hey,
It'd have to be someone from the police department to go in. You know how they have the stings? Or the ABCC sends out investigators too.
Right.
oh yeah, we used to do it all the time. We send kids that,
They send Ray in to buy alcohol and he doesn't get carded.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard
I know.
stories from Cujo.
oh yeah,
I know, we went into the abandoned building yesterday, they didn't card us, because I have no hair, I can't be 16.
But getting back to the emails,
Yeah.
the important thing on the email is that we can't discuss
Right.
the matter.
Okay.
We can't go back and forth.
Right. Like, you can't say, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
Because that
you just
requires
can't.
because
You know,
this is
if you have-
information.
So
questions about stuff, it's not something we can discuss on a phone call or it's one-on-one.
Okay.
But an email that involves more than two of us, and instantly it's a violation.
Okay.
yeah.
So if there is a question, give us a buzz or something like
Okay.
that. Or individual email,
Okay.
where it's not involving a quorum.
Do you have any other questions about learning where or procedure or anything? How about you? Is there anything that would help make your job easier? I know it's a big learning curve here.
Yeah, just,
Well, what I can say to you, Lindsay, that from all my years as a paralegal, the best way I learned to do something is go back to something that was similar in the file and look at that and look at how that evolved and use that. And you're gonna find ones that are done much better than other ones.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then, kind of use that as your master. So read down, look at how the things were filled out, and then when you're doing the form again yourself, say, okay, I remember seeing this,
Right.
this, and this. Something doesn't look right here. Let me go back and look. This one was approved. Let me make sure my paperwork that I'm doing, it looks similar to that. And then, you're gonna find somebody at the ABCC that you're comfortable asking questions, because there's not a stupid question, there really isn't. There is a reply to you that makes you feel stupid. That's the person you don't wanna call.
oh yeah.
so I know those people now.
Yeah, find the person.
Ralph has been helpful though.
Yeah, and that's what you're
But
gonna
it
do.
was like that renewal certification, I was like, what renewal certification? The one we sent you. Okay, I wasn't the person here. What is a renewal certification? Ask your local board. I'm like, can you just tell me what you want them to sign? And then it got to the point where I called Ralph and Ralph was like, let me just email it to you. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, and
You gotta-
that's
you
what it
gotta
is.
know.
And just go to Ralph then from now on.
Yeah.
When Ralph feels that you have a really good understanding, he's gonna pass you down to somebody else that you can hold your weight up against.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That when they start to give you a hard time, you're gonna be able to push back.
Right.
But right now, everybody's just gonna be like, oh, you know, they're pushing you to the side. And,
Right.
you know, so that's what, you gotta start with somebody that you're comfortable with and you feel that they're gonna answer you, and take the time to answer you if you really don't understand it. And never be afraid to ask the same question till you get it explained to you that you understand it. Just don't, just don't
Well, that's what I
give
keep,
up.
that's what I keep pushing on, and it doesn't seem like with the hunt and gather thing, you know? Yeah.
I know,
It's
but
been a
I
lot of
still talk to
pushback
her.
from that, and then if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, then it's just a lot of just, I'm kind of sinking and swimming.
And a lot of times, when people know something, it's hard for them to explain to somebody who doesn't know it, because they've been saying it for 20 years.
Right.
And they just, it's hard. It's hard with
Right.
anything. Teachers are like that. Anybody that
Yeah.
instructs anybody to do something, after a while you're like, why don't you understand what I'm saying?
Well, that's why I
Because
think-
it's the instructor that needs to say it differently is what the
Yeah.
problem is.
That's why someone who really knows their subject well can tell it to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas if some people just can only speak up here, it's like, you're not helping me because I don't have that language.
Right,
you know?
and I think that's why I just keep reminding the ABCC and you guys, it's like, I'm still learning, so I don't have all, so when you say the LLA form, I don't necessarily know what the LLA form
Mhm.
is, you guys told me, the first page of the application is called the LLA form, and
Yeah.
that's what I would try to explain to Brian down at the ABCC and a couple other people, I'm just like, fill out the form, and I'm like, okay.
With
And-
application questions that she would run into, it can just be, it is as simple as just doing a stare and compare. Here's an application that was filled out a year ago. and
Well,
this is how you
the
can
applications
make
are
your-
pretty basic. You have an all alcohol, you have a beer and malt, you have an off premise. There's only really 8 different types?
Oh,
Not even
God.
8. There's not
They
that
keep
many.
changing new
Um,
ones now.
So, and Lindsay may not know what businesses in town, but either I will or Ray will. That I can say, okay, go back and look at the last one that we did. Like Daily Operations is the last beer and wine that we
I
just
still
did.
look at them.
Yeah,
I look
and
up.
that'd be a perfect one to go back and look at, because that one was, that's when Jason, myself, and Ray were on the board, so everything was, pretty much in line. There shouldn't be any mistakes. We would have heard if there was a
So
mistake.
that's another one that I took a peek at that didn't have the legislative box check or any of that, so
But
is
they
that
weren't.
something that needs
That
to-
wasn't a legislative, because that was
Okay.
beer and wine. That's
Okay.
all they served there, and we had a beer and wine to give at
Okay.
that time.
And you've mentioned a file cabinet.
There's a cabinet in her office
Into my office.
that has all the liquor license information, which up until probably a year ago was very poorly and mismanaged, poorly kept and mismanaged, and even I looked at it and I could not make heads or
But
tails of
that's
what's been
something
going
that
on.
I would have access to?
Yes, in my
Okay.
office anytime.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still trying to sort through it. So that's when we had the seasonal issue come up, and you were like, oh, look in tandem. There's 0 tandem folders.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to
So
paperwork.
there's some
Paperwork,
things filed under seasonal licenses and seasonal applications, but there's no tandem. And everything's just so, I'm still going through that, trying to make sense of it myself.
and I think one of our goals should be that everything is electronic, and I think you should do it by type of license and year. And then you will very easily be able to, especially when you go to do your renewals in December, you have everything that
I'm
was
so ready for
was
renewals now.
2018.
Yeah.
But nothing was, or what was digitized and put on the computer, I can't even, I couldn't figure it out either.
Yeah.
It was just very, there was no
Some
organization to it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that helps. So, Lindsay, would you put me on the listserv email?
Yes.
Or not listserv, but your
Yes.
email list, and that way I can learn as well.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I guess all I had.
Okay.
Legitimate.
But a lot of it is just
Good start.
watching
Yes.
and learning. That's
Yeah.
how I came along, and, Ray's been on the longest, and being
My
that,
second secretary.
and he was on the ABCC.
Ah, okay.
I did a lot of liquor license stuff when I worked for the attorney,
Oh,
so
okay.
I know it from the other end, so
Yeah.
I can kind of understand when someone's asking a question, because that would have been a question I would have been
Yeah.
asking. So, and just, I know how it is to deal, like, you know, having to deal with people that, you know, talk to you like you're supposed to know this stuff and you don't.
Yeah,
So,
that's,
You know, when I was on, I mean, years ago, when my brother was a chief, I ended up doing this thing in down here. 44% of the bars in town serve and underage.
and you don't see that anymore, but.
Oh, no, it's not like that anymore.
All right, is that good for everyone?
Yep.
yes.
Yeah.
How about a motion to close the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Ray, second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks, Bob.